it's been game changing for me, I think would be the
Awesome.
way to put it.
Today we have got the awesome Mr. Chris Young on today's live interview. Chris is kind of taking 20 minutes out of his day to talk to us. He's just finished up in our program, The 1% Blueprint, about a couple of weeks back now, wasn't it, Chris? We were just saying.
Yeah.
So before we jump into that and talk about, from my perspective, Chris's awesome achievements, but I want him to speak, not me. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks, Luke. Chris Young. I am an audit partner at a large professional services firm. So work in a highly regulated and high pressure environment.
You, I think, saw a post maybe of a colleague or someone that you'd worked with talking about their experience having worked with me and us in the program, the 1% and the Blueprint. You then decided to reach out and have a chat. What was going on back then, which sort of made you decide, look, I want to have a chat with somebody like me and have a conversation?
Yeah, so I'd seen a few posts from people who you'd worked with, and it had got me thinking a while ago about it, and really about doing something other than continuing with the norm, which was, working long hours and working hours that, sometimes all the hours that there were during the week, and not looking after myself. So using anything other than, or using the excuse of time to do anything other than look after myself and spend time with my wife and the kids. So it was that and seeing some of the results from other people and the posts that sort of made me think wider about it. And certainly, on the exercise point, I hadn't been doing anything really. So before I went through the program with you, I didn't really know what I should be doing and trying to get into a morning routine. So I was just, I was getting up and going for a run, but I wasn't seeing any results from it, which was part of it. And that means, or for me, that resulted in just a lack of discipline, I think, in terms of keeping things going.
What would you say then, back then, and we're going to fast forward, I want to talk about the positive stuff, but what was probably your biggest frustration with your current situation, if you can rewind a couple of months into the past?
Just a lack of energy to get on and do something about it, really. That was frustrating. So my wife had started doing something similar, working with a trainer earlier in the year, and we both said we should do something, but I still put it off for a few months, and so just that lack of discipline to be able to do something.
Sitting here today, what would you say your key achievements and successes are, having come through the process with where you sit today?
I've got a lot more energy and drive than I had 12 weeks ago, whenever it was. I've lost a lot of weight. I feel healthy and I feel good about it. I actually had a medical at work a couple of weeks ago, and it's the first one I've actually looked forward to and
awesome.
Had some positive results from, which was nice. So yeah, definitely feeling healthier, got more drive and energy, certainly at work and also at home.
What would you say has helped you achieve that? Like, what have been your key learnings and takeaways, having come through a process, being coached, gone through what we've done? What would you think are the key drivers that are helping you achieve that?
I think I mentioned it at the start. I think seeing some results from that short 8-week period, for me, and it might not be the same for everybody, but for me, it makes a difference to it, because if you can see the results for yourself, physically and also the mentally side of things and balance, and you've got a happy family life and a happier wife as a result of it, then that is the bit that gives me the discipline to keep going with it.
Yeah.
For me, and some of that is around. So there's obviously the exercise and looking after yourself. But then there's all the other stuff that you do around all the coaching and, getting you to think a bit more deeply. And actually some of the stuff that I found the hardest was all the coaching modules that we went through. But those were the ones that actually made me think the most and also keep me thinking about things going forward. And which is why I've then got that discipline to keep going. But it makes you think about the other stuff rather than just this is what I want to do in terms of losing weight or whatever it is. And then the other one was, what's it you're saying about discipline eats motivation for breakfast or something like that.
Yeah.
I come back to that quite a lot just to keep me going.
What do you think was the most surprising part of the whole process?
so I guess it's the small things that you can do that make such a big difference around meditation, and leaving your not being on your phone all the time. So I think, yeah, it's the fact that it's small things that can make such a big difference if you put them together.
If there was one thing that was like a key takeaway from the process, what would you say it was?
You've just got to get on with it, and there's no excuses, right? You have coaching calls and stuff like that, and you can ask questions, and there's a bit of peer pressure, but at the end of the day, you've just got to immerse yourself in it and really take on board the different activities that are involved.
If anyone is watching this, let's say they're maybe in a similar situation to you were a few weeks back, not feeling the best, but maybe not engaged with the coach before, not sure about reaching out for help, what would you say to someone who's kind of in your shoes a couple of months ago?
Yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I think I put it in my LinkedIn post. It's not easy to realize that you've got to reach out and that you might need some help, and sometimes you can't deal with these things yourself. You do need some help to, as you say, the solution's within you, but it's working out how you get to that solution. So yeah, I mean, it's been game changing for me, I think would be the
Awesome.
way to put it.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I'll let you get off now because I know you're busy.
All right.
If anyone's watching this and they're potentially interested in having a chat, they may be feeling like Chris was back then, you're interested in just exploring, what we do in the 1% a bit more, drop me a note in the comments or send me a DM and we can arrange a chat. Other than that, thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure having a chat, and everyone have a great Thursday. Take care. Cheers.